for radiant wellness and soul-forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntunen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love.
Namaste and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. I am Jess Juntunen, your host for this hour, and I'm so grateful to be with you all again every Tuesday live here at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, Soul Fusion Cafe. So it is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Hello, wherever you are. If it is your morning, your lunch, or your evening, wherever you may be tuning in, welcome. It is a pleasure to be with you again. And this week, we're talking all about the journey of self-ascension and, what that means to be on the journey of self-ascension. What is self-ascension if it's something you have never encountered yet or heard that term? So we're going to be exploring that. And, for me, it's an important topic because it is the cornerstone of all the work that I hold near and dear to my own heart. It's self-ascension is the cornerstone of all of the work, and it is a non-dogmatic path. There is no right or wrong path to follow, and in this path of self-ascension, it really is just the journey home and becoming more and more the true self that you are. And I find that it dovetails beautifully with, whatever your own path or beliefs are, because self-ascension is self-realization. It is the pathway of discovering our true nature. And there's so many intersections and so many wisdoms and paths around the planet that this truth is really a part of. So welcome. We are streaming over on onenesstalkradio.com, as well as the Facebook Oneness Talk Radio and YouTube Oneness Talk Radio. I see a few folks popping into the chat over at Facebook and YouTube. Namaste and welcome, Leslie, Ashtara, and anyone else that is joining in. We have the live chat. I do try to pop over and look at that occasionally and check in and say hello. And of course, we have the phone lines open if you would like to call in today. If you have something you would love to share about your own pathway of self-ascension or just your journey. And if you have any questions or you would like a mini reading, the call-in number is 517-208-1500. And if you are viewing right now, I put that up on the screen for you. 517-208-1500 is our call board, and we'll try to get in and grab some calls later on in the show today. So yeah, stay tuned, and you can listen to it while you're over there on the call-in number as well. So thank you so much for being here with me today. It is always, as I said, a pleasure to connect, because this is a beautiful community, a beautiful time to come together and share. Many of those that do tune in to Soul Fusion Cafe are part of the Self-Ascension community and the work of Master Lady Kira Ra and wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka. So welcome. And if you have not explored their teachings or work, you're welcome as well. But yeah, a lot of our community and the work that inspires me and that is the foundation for what I do definitely births from the yoga of self-ascension and the teachings brought forth by Master Lady Kira Ra and Sri Ram Ka. So it is always an awesome time to connect with others in that community and welcome, anybody new to the conversation. So yeah, so the journey of self-ascension, when I felt into this show today, it just really felt like it needed to be about what is self-ascension for those that may tune in or listen that have not heard this term or concept, or the yoga of self-ascension, or alchemy of self-ascension, as we like to call it as well, and to dive in. And if you're out there saying, hey, I've got something on my journey I want to share, just please do give a call in that 517-208-1500 number, and would love, love, love to hear from you. So as we begin, I like to just start off with, hey, it's July, what's going on energetically right now. And July is, I feel like, such a bursting, fiery month, being that it's summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And it is really a high action time. Days are long, fiery movement, a lot happening, and then energetically, when we look at those overlays, anything I share here, I definitely recommend going and checking out Shri and Kira's July Ascension predictions on official Shri and Kira YouTube, and check that out, because they really go into depth about these energies and what we're experiencing. But I always like to touch in with these energies just for that context and that reminder that we are in a bigger picture than what meets the eye, right? That we are in a cosmology, we're in a greater picture than what we remember in our day-to-day while we're going along, interacting in the world with others. Sometimes we forget this bigger context. So it's always amazing to remind ourselves that so much more is happening than we think. And really right now it's so about expansion and lots of touching of the infinite energies in July. We're doing so very much. If you have been working on your path, whatever your path is, how you follow that. If you have been in that energy of like, I'm planting those seeds, you've been working on the vision of what you believe is possible in your life, in the world. You have been working on yourself, your expansion. You've been doing those things. It is the time where we will be harvesting this fall. So we are in growing time. Grow, grow, grow. And as we are infinitely expanding, we are in this experience month, July being an experience month. And there's the awareness, experience, choice that we're always evolving through. So we're very much in the experience. So really pay attention to your experiences, what you're experiencing, what's going on around you. And there is really this potential to just lift, 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 and be free from, limiting beliefs, those patterns, those things that come in to stop us. And likely they're flushing up in front of you so that you can look at them and see them, so you can release. So a lot is happening. It can feel really intense sometimes. And, time continues to do its spiral dance, and it continues to defy, right? It's an illusion. Time's an illusion, yet we have this whole construct here that we're trying to work in, and you probably still have to go to work and go to appointments and be at places at particular times, so we notice that part of time, right? But the fact that we can expand, dilate time, spiral time, that we are doing so much more than this third dimension, that we are multidimensional beings. And right now we're in that energy of go, touch your infinite wisdom, touch into your expanded capacity for love, for compassion for yourself. And commit to yourself. Whatever you are committing to right now, you are amplifying energetically, infinitely. So notice where your commitments are. Big energy, right? Where is your attention? Where have you been planting those seeds? And maybe I was talking with our guest last week, the garden analogy came forward, and what's in your garden? And what maybe are you wanting to weed out of that garden? Maybe you committed to some things that you don't really want to be growing in your life. Fine, weed them out and nurture that which you want to flourish in your life. So it really is an important time to be really in that steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. Though the framework of support, those pieces, the steadfast commitment, like I'm saying yes, and you say yes, and you say yes again and again. Archangel Zadkiel reminds us of this one. You'll say yes, and you will say yes again and again and again. We don't just say yes to our path and our journey one time and we're done. We are always invited to continue saying yes to those dreams and to what else is there, right? And namaste. Some others saying hello, Alehia and Julie, welcome, namaste. And yeah, any of you out there in the chat, I try to pop in once in a while and say hello and see what's over there. And if you want to call in and chat, have a sharing, 517-208-1500 is that number. Would love to hear your sharings, questions, give them any reading. What's on your heart? How has your ascension journey been going? Love hearing from folks. So that is there. And namaste, Gary. Many blessings and welcome. So yeah, July, big month, and we're cooking in it. And as we are laying that way towards August, and the importance of that, paying attention to where our consciousness is, because everything's expanding. And if you are feeling intensity, if you're feeling moments that are difficult or feeling challenges presenting, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You're not alone. And I'm here too, and it's such an important, amazing moment for self-ascension on the planet. So what is self-ascension? Those that have tuned in and are wondering, this is at once maybe a simple sounding question, and then there's so many answers, but the simple real essence of self-ascension is to come into that self that is the true self, to come home to our true nature. And that is the self beyond this body of form and the personality that feels like it's in control and driving the bus. That is the self, the oneness, the connection to our true nature, our wisdom. And when we can lift into that, and that's the yoga of self-ascension, it's the practice or the alchemy of self-ascension, the magic that happens as we apply this to our lives, that allows us to propel ourselves into that lift and into that expansionary experience that is beyond the mind, beyond the body. And self-ascension is this just beautiful pathway that Archangel Zadkiel teaches about and brought to the world. And those of you that are taking Navigating the Inner Matrix are on quite the journey of self-ascension right now, because it is the foundation of all of that. And if you were unable to get into the live Navigating the Inner Matrix journey, stay tuned for when that home study releases, because there's nothing like that foundational program. And, if you've been a student of self-ascension for some time, some of this is familiar. But again, it's also always beautiful to revisit and think about these concepts and really approach with that kind of beginner's mind. As many times as I have, read books, done studies, done home studies, done programs, lived in this energy, I still need to bring that beginner's mind and come back to the real, the beginning, and allow it to just be the energy that sustains, that supports, and really just approach it with that curiosity and love, not with the energy of like, I know this, I've got this all, because as soon as we're there, then, we're back in a lot of our ego. And beautiful, we can at any moment come back into our consciousness and make a new choice. And there's always room to expand, to explore more, to feel into it, and some of this journey, I wanted to share some of my own journey today, because I think in the reflection of one another's journeys, in the witnessing, receiving, and sharing of one another's, we do experience the truth of our own nature, our own story, and our own wisdom is reflected. And, for me, this journey has been maybe, of course, lifetimes in the making, but self-ascension really came to me profoundly when I moved back to the United States after living abroad. And I had been living abroad for 4 years in Costa Rica, and I birthed 2 babies there, and I was being mama. It was an amazing experience, and I loved Costa Rica like it was my true home, and it is one of my other homes and always will be. And moving away from there was absolutely what I needed to do at the time, but it was also very difficult because it really became my home. And I had such a pivotal awakening moment while I was there in Costa Rica. And I had many recollections from childhood that came forward later, but things that I forgot, things that I knew to be true as a child, right? So often is the case that if you were an awake being and a sensitive child, at least, in the olden days, maybe it's changing now. I know it's changing now because many children have more awake, conscious parents than ever before. But we choose our parents, absolutely. And, I chose an upbringing as a very awake being that invited me to go back to sleep. And nobody could recognize, what was going on there for this child. So I fast forward, I kind of forgot a lot of that, but I always, always was searching. It was, whether it was yoga or acupuncture or some other ways of understanding myself and health and wellness. I usually did search for the outside of the box kind of things from a young age, but it wasn't till I was living in Costa Rica with 2 little babies in the jungle, literally lived like in the jungle, like on the edge of a reserve for a large portion of this time, and lived by the beaches, and it was incredible. And I had to really, though, have that kind of day of reckoning, right? So many of us have that. We're going to have to go through the void experience to return to ourselves, to remember ourselves. Sometimes we have to go through a lot of things in order to break down all of the barriers and the limitations and have that awakening. Like Rumi says, right? The wound is the place the light enters. It is through those painful experiences that we have that opportunity to come back into light and to heal. So, for me, that was where my self-ascension journey in this experience really took off, because I didn't really realize I was working with the concepts of self-ascension so much yet, but I trusted enough that when I was visiting home to Michigan from this trip, that I just knew something had to change. Like I knew that marriage wasn't healthy for me. And every time I had come home to visit, I would usually bring, my important documents and photos in case I didn't go back. But, it took a few times of dancing around with that. So this is one of the visits. I came home and I went to a group of some women that were gathered. I was invited to, and somebody read some text, and it was Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life, that book that many of you may be familiar with. It's kind of a canon text, and she was really working with releasing limiting beliefs, working with the inner child, working with healing, working with how the body communicates to you and messages from the body, all these things that she was putting to paper back when a lot of people didn't say much about that, right? So a chapter was read, and it's about blessing your bills and something, and I was like, wow, that is intriguing. Blessing my bills, which is a phenomenal thing to do, right? I'm so grateful that I have a bill, because that means I have electricity to pay, right? But this was like, blew my mind. I was this young woman, this young mom, and I went to the bookstore in the mall at the time and looked for the book. Like the next day, I was like, that book really was incredible. I want to read more of it. And I found it, right? And it's like, $19.99 or whatever it is. And at this time, I literally did not have $20 to spend. I didn't have $10 to spend. So I looked at it kind of forlornly and put it back. And a few days later, I was with, I don't know, maybe my mom or friend, and went to a rummage sale. And I got to this rummage sale, and it's a donation event. They're giving donations to some charity, and there's a pile of books, and on the top of the pile, they have on a book stand, Louise Hay's You Can Heal Your Life. The book's sitting right there, face forward, and I was able to donate like $2 and get this copy of this book, and it really was incredible. And I took that back with me to Costa Rica, and I worked through that entire book. And I met, we had moved to a little bit bigger town, and there was an actual yoga studio. And there was a couple of other Americans there that were practicing, and it just felt like, oh my gosh, there's actually other Americans. There's a yoga studio. Wow. And the woman, she was Costa Rican that was running it. She had a teacher in meditation, and I started going to her meditations, and I was so committed, because things in my life I was so unhappy about, that I focused. It was the steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, without me really realizing I was doing it, right? That got me to that point of like, I was going to other places. I was meditating regularly every day and getting so much downloads and insights. And because of all of this, long story short, I was the happiest maybe I have ever been. Really, I was just so focused on the divine and my connection. And it was like, in a large part, like I said, out of necessity, because things were just so not, even though I loved Costa Rica, my life, things were so not good in that relationship. And it was a relationship of violence. It was a relationship of pain. It was exactly what it needed to be, and what helped me break through ultimately. And I had breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And the trust really came that I know I'm going to be taken care of, and when it's time to go, I'm going to go. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it was just like the day it happened, I remember, and it was like, it's time to go now. And I was gone within like 72 hours and living back in the United States. And that was incredible, right? And I was so sad to leave Costa Rica, but that was the thing I grieved. But I was so happy to leave that relationship. I was so happy to be focused on myself and my little ones. And that's how it went, and I went to graduate school and thought, okay, I'm like really getting my things together. And I had this interview for a position in graduate school that was, on paper, seemingly everything I would want. It would give me the cash flow that I would need, and to have the home I'd want for my kids and myself. And it was in my degree field, which is kind of hard to find, at least in the area I'm living, where I wanted to stay at the time. And, and I went through the whole process. It was like a full length 1-day interview, even as part of this process. And I knew the other person that was also a serious candidate had been my office mate, and in grad school. So I knew him really well, and I knew it was between the two of us. And then I saw the day that they offered him the job, because I worked down the hall in another department, and I saw him come out, saw his face, saw that it happened, and then I had to deal with that. And I knew in the moment, part of me absolutely knew I was protected. I would have been miserable at that job, guys. It wouldn't have lasted. It would have been miserable. but on paper it all looked good, like, so I was absolutely protected. But here's what happened at that point. It was like another level up into the self-ascension journey, because I had come back and been back for a couple of years from Costa Rica, and just that spiritual experience and everything around it was still very real, but I wasn't in that practice all the time. Then I was in grad school mode and single mom mode and all of that. So when that all ended and I did not get that position, it was like everything I hadn't really dealt with, that maybe I was naive that I had healed so much from that divorce, or all of the things from all my life. And I know so many of you relate to this. That's why I'm sharing. It's like everything came forward, and it was absolutely, earth shaking, crumbling, and anxiety and stress. It was insane. And that's what led me to the door of somebody that studies with Shri and Kira and does the work of self-ascension. And I just knew I needed a healer, or somebody I had done therapy my whole life, been in and out many times. And I was doing therapy at this point too, but I knew that there was something beyond that I needed. And it was fast. It was really fast. She had mentioned a few works of Shri and Kira's. It was around the time Navigating the Inner Matrix was going to be taught live again. And I jumped into that. And the self-ascension journey just clicked. Self-ascension made total sense to me. And things happened super, super fast in my life. Like crazy fast. Within a year, I had done my doula certification and was a birth doula. I had done many trainings with Shri and Kira, and I was certified in a lot of healing modalities. And then I opened up my own practice and continued from there. And it will always be a continuing process and path, and a continual saying yes to self-ascension. But the parts of my story that I'm hoping by sharing help you remember in yours, that there's always those moments where maybe we think that everything is lost. You didn't get the job, or a marriage falls apart, or you had to make a big move. But those are the very catalysts that can lead to our opening of our heart and to the process of self-ascension. We have to go through that stuff. There's no shortcutting it, because it's part of the experience. We can't just spiritually bypass and just say, oh, I'm just going to be ascended. We have to go through discovering our own limitations. We have to look at our stuff. We have to go through that void experience, and we have to go through it again, and we will go through it again, but it will be easier as we go on the path, because we already have done it. We've already done that work once. And if you're out there and you're sitting in a place where you're saying, I don't even know if I can get there, it is the steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. Just keep saying yes. Just keep saying yes, and just really be in that awareness of, like, where is your energy? How are you focusing on? If you aren't feeling well, notice where you are focusing. If you are feeling expansive, notice where you are focusing. And really trust yourself. Trust in the divine, however you relate to the divine. Trust that there is, the universe has your back, that you have your own back. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, and those are the frameworks that, even without knowing it, I was doing. And I bet you've had times in your life where you were guided and you were doing some of these things without even realizing it. And when we become conscious and really start working with it, it becomes that much more fun. It really does, because it's not as hard as those first times when we're awakening, and our ego has to go through so much. As we ascend and anchor our vibration higher, we go, oh, I know how this goes. I know how to do this. So that when you do come up another, like a re-up moment, like another opportunity to re-up your game or step into self-ascension more fully, that you're you're ready. You know how. You've done this before. And even if you feel like it's your first time in this lifetime, you've done this before. We've absolutely, mastered these energies many times over in order to come here and be a being in form. So self-ascension too, it's not about just lifting up in a way. Like ascension sometimes will bring that terminology, and we hear ascension a lot now in new age conversations and some religious contexts, right? But and ascension means, oh yeah, I'm lifting up in a way. But self-ascension, lifting into the higher self, but we are bringing that into the world of form through having this body, through interacting in this world, that we're creating the ascension frequencies on earth. And we're not just lifting up in a way and not paying attention to our body or our duties or things that we do here as a being, as a human, but that we carry the form and we carry the body instead of being in the energy of letting that dominate all of our experience and reality. We're carrying that experience and we're bringing our wisdom, our connection to our higher self into this world of form. So it really is such a journey, and it's so beautiful. And I'm just loving all of the conversations and the chat. And I'm going to hop over here to the phone lines and see who we've got here. Let's see. Looks like Ashtara is on the line. Namaste.
Hi, Jess. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you, love?
I'm really happy to connect with you today. I've been feeling you. I've been wanting to reach out. I thank you for sharing your story. It helps. It helps, to kind of humanize this whole experience we're going through. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. It's my honor.
Well, you're a blessing. And I would love to ask for the blessing of some clarity, of a mini reading. All I really need to say is that I'm circling back. It seems like everything that I was manifesting and working with 2 years ago is right here. And that includes relationship. That includes navigating the inner matrix and a new level of mastery. And so what I'm noticing is just my ego is freaking out so hard. And while that's happening, part of that is just the fatigue, the crushing fatigue of my body and the flatness of my brain. And, I kind of just dropped in the last few days where my body was just like, nope, I'm not, I won't, no. Yeah. And that, I find that so challenging. And so I would just, I would being aware and present with just the sheer magnitude of my own attachments and addictions it's a lot. I would just love to hear from you about that.
Oh, it is. Thank you. Thank you. First, I'm just like, thank you so much for calling in and just hearing that call and reaching out, because it is always a blessing and honor to connect with you. And I'm just breathing in as you're sharing and saying, oh, I mean, I feel you, I honor you, and the path before you at times I know may feel like it's murky. What I'm being shown is that it's like that uncertainty that has entered that says, oh, I am not entirely sure about this path now. And you're in very much one of those transiting experiences. And what you're experiencing, I'm so glad you called in, because I know a lot of other people are probably experiencing this too. And I mean, yours truly included have had ego coming up forward in massive ways. So it's not abnormal. So it's always good to know we're not alone when we're experiencing that. Yeah. And as I connect with you, it's just this sensation that it's like it's coming up from the solar plexus. And I really want you to breathe into that solar. Yeah, just like really one hand to heart, one hand to that solar plexus, and breathing there. And it might even take, a while after we get off this call too, to just really keep being with it. And I'm just feeling this, like I'm even rocking while I'm sharing, because there is this energy that is just holding you and rocking you. And it is very much like that mother rocking a child. And to really, really remember to be so gentle and forgiving and loving with yourself, and pay attention to your thoughts, and notice sometimes where those thoughts might be coming from. Like follow them back, follow them back, follow them back. And you're going to get to that seed of where the thought started or manifested from. And that gives you a really good clue of what you're working with. And then you can go in and just really breathe and be with that beginning, the beginning thought is the words that keep coming, the beginning thought, and really just loving yourself through it and asking yourself, what is it that I need right now? And there is so much, you've always, when I connect with you, have such a mastery energy. It's very strong. It's very masculine, feminine, very connected, earth and heavens. And it's this integration that is seeking to occur between the two, that masculine and feminine, and this balance that is birthing through your heart. But as you release whatever has been kind of like sticking in that solar plexus, and keep loving it, keep being with it, keep being with it, to allow that lift into the heart, and just allow then the freedom, it just goes up from the heart and free. But it's almost like you're moving through this point between the solar plexus and heart that's just gotten kind of bound up. And really, really, really tons of self-love, tons of just, no matter what's been present, and all the stories that the mind wants to tell, and everything else, that, let it just have its say, and follow it back to where it starts, and love that part of yourself even more, and know that, wow, it's just gold energy, golden crown around you, golden wings, that you've got this. And you never ever would have said yes if you didn't have everything that you needed to walk through this. And you have got this. And I love you. Thank you so much for calling in, my dear. Namaste.
Oh, thank you so much, Jess. Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, beautiful. And let's go ahead and grab Belleville, Illinois. Is this Gary on the line?
Yeah, it is. Namaste, Jess. How you doing?
Namaste, Gary. Wonderful. Wonderful to hear from you, too.
Thank you. I'm doing really good. Wonderful as always. I wanted to confirm, something you said, and Carrie's been saying it a long time. We've done this before, and we've had to have, what you just said a little bit ago, I've experienced several times where I've done something I've just done it, the work, and then learned about it in the spiritual teaching 6 months, 5 months, 3 months later, after I already did it. It's like, how did I know to do that? You know what I mean? It's because we've done this before. This isn't a unfamiliar walk. It's like breathing once you get into it,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you've confirmed that. You've already done this.
Oh, yeah, we definitely have. I got into this quantum forgiveness thing that no one ever taught it to me. I'm going to teach it to people, though. I guarantee you that. I got into this way of forgiving. It was deep and it was painful and emotional. But every day that I did it, and Lynn was gracious enough to, left me alone for 3 days in bed. I stayed in bed for 3 days and just really went in deep and put myself in all the actions and reactions of myself on each side of it, and then forgave every little experience right down to childhood. And every day I felt 50 pounds lighter. 50 pounds lighter the next day, 50 pounds lighter the next day. And then of course I had to forgive some stuff, especially my stuff. I didn't walk as a saint. And eventually I just quit having to forgive, and it quit coming back up.
Incredible.
I call it quantum forgiveness because it was awesome. It was awesome. It truly was. And I got to share something with you. I think I overblessed our peach tree here. Last year we got a 3-year peach tree, right? And last year this thing kicked off. I'm standing by right now. It kicked off like 20 peaches. So during this fall and winter and everything, I blessed it. I meditated near it. I prayed, that we get an abundance of fruit from this tree. And I think it's paying the ultimate price, man, for my love for peaches. It's got so many peaches, it's bent over. 3 of the branches have snapped off the thing. I got pictures of it. I want to email you a picture of it. You got to see this thing. It is totally bent over with all the peaches on it.
That's incredible.
I don't even know how many. It's got 1,000 peaches.
Talk about abundance. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, hey, can you overbless something? That's what I asked Lynn. I was like, because if you can, I do. This thing is like paying the ultimate price for us.
Oh, well, that tree in its wisdom is doing what it needs to be doing. So bless it. Bless that tree and all of its abundance, and do something good with all those peaches.
Yeah, she's going to make some cut. We're going to give some to the neighbors too. It's definitely abundant.
Oh,
but, can I give a little energy reading today?
I would love that. Yes, absolutely. I would love that. So as I connect with you, and I'm just smiling in this connection and your sharings, and I love that you bring up like that, knowing that we've done this before. And just as you connect, it's like that peach energy is so fragrant around you. I'm like smelling it. And there's literally like the message that's coming from that tree is just like the sweetness of life. The sweetness and abundance and bounty of life is always, always, always giving and always there for you. And there is this real centeredness is the word that comes forward for me. And oceanic. So it's like there's this big, vast ocean that you are standing at the shore of, that your feet are in, that you are part of, and that you are in that receiving of, just as the waves continually come and go, that you are in that flow of the receiving and the giving and the sweetness of life that you are. And there is such a profound energy of just like, relax. You have got this. You've always had this. And now more than ever, you can just really relax and know that you're doing it. You're doing what you came here to do, that everything that is going to be needed to be provided as you continue this journey is coming just as those waves continue to come in from the ocean, that you will always be provided for. And it's just that continual, just continue walking in the trust, they're saying. Just continue to be in that trust and allow yourself to be open to all of the different possibilities and ways that these tools and resources and abundance are flowing into your life. And to just keep honoring you, keep honoring the commitments you made, and that your success is 120 million% guaranteed. So thank you so much for calling in and sharing your heart, and for providing this opportunity for this reading that I know others will be feeling as well. Thank you, Gary, so much.
Oh, thank you, Jess. And I love you very much. I love this entire family, and we are strong. We are one.
Yes.
And we are beautiful.
Absolutely. Agreed.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste, Jess. Love you. Bye-bye.
Love you. Awesome. Cool. I love that we have a good call board happening today. Let's grab another call. Let's see. Worthington, Minnesota on the line. Are you there? Hello, Worthington, Minnesota. Okay, perhaps not. Okay, and let's see. We have an unknown wireless caller. You're on the line. Namaste. Hello and welcome. Okay, perhaps not. All right, if anyone else is out there and would like to call in, try to grab a few calls, but it was quiet. But the number is on the screen, 517-208-1500, if you have a sharing, question, or would like to request a mini reading. And we'll see if we can get any other callers in here. That is 517-208-1500. And we'll give this a try one more time. Namaste. Is Minnesota on the line? No. Namaste, wireless caller. With your hand up.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
I do hear you. I hear you now.
Oh, okay. I'm the unknown caller. Okay, I didn't realize that. It's Pauline.
Namaste, Pauline. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, there's something interesting that came across my, because I'm studying astrology, and somebody said something about the Sirius star was aligning to the sun, and the dates that they gave, now this is a 5-day stretch that is open from July.
Right.
8 to 12.
Oh, we're having a little bit of internet.
Oh,
okay, I can hear you now. Can you sum up what you were saying? Sorry, our connection's not really good. Can you just summarize?
Yeah, there was something about the Sirius star connecting to the sun. It's like the spiritual sun, and then there's a connection to Isis. And I did some more research, and I found it very interesting that the stretch of days with the calendar that Sri was showing in July, and then she mentioned that the lineage told us that she was going to have something with the, of course, the Lion Gate. This is all connected to the Lion Gate as well. The 5-day stretch from, like, for some reason this week it was July 3rd through 7th, and then the August 8th through the 12th. So it sort of coincides with her calendar, which she, but it's not exactly. She doesn't mention Sirius. It's just the brightest star out there, and always the spiritual sun. I just see there's like a lot of connections to what her calendar is talking about.
Yeah.
And that's just what I wanted to share.
Awesome.
Is there any chance that you have your card? Probably not.
You're so dear, Pauline. I like never have my cards up here in my studio when you ask. I'm sorry, but
I'll take a mini meeting.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. All right. So I'm just going to mute your line since there is some like feedback happening. And yeah, just connecting. There are so many intersections and beautiful places where all these teachings and things, events that are happening, right? We see those connections, and I love that. And as I connect with you, it is, I'm just really feeling truth chakra big time in this watery energy. So letting yourself wash away is what I'm seeing, like washing away any words of persecution or judgments or things like that towards yourself or others, but it's predominantly yourself, letting them wash away and really stepping into being the truth of you. You don't have to say it. You don't have to shout it. You just have to be the truth of who you are and walk in the world. And it's very flowy. There's so much water energies happening today in these readings. And it's really like this, just allow yourself to be in the flow and pay attention to the words that you are speaking into the world, because they matter a lot, and that you need to just really let go and wash away any of those words that might have been used to harm your own self, and just stand in the remembrance, the mastery, the truth that you are, because you are divinely guided and protected. And there is so much just rose, golden energy all around you and your feet. Let yourself walk in the world, dance in the world, enjoy expressing in the many ways beyond the words that you have to express in this form. So thank you so much for calling in and trusting that supported you. And I'm going to hop over to, we've got another caller on the line. This looks like it could be Alehia. Namaste. Are you there in California?
Hello, Jess. This is Alehia.
Hi, Alehia. Nice to be with you today.
Wonderful to hear your voice this morning. I've loved your sharing. Your story has been quite amazing to listen to.
Oh.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot to me that it has an impact for people. That's why we share.
Yes. Well, what I've been doing the last month or so, I'm teaching myself how to paint
and draw and use watercolors. I don't know where it's going. However, part of me is saying I'm doing this to activate another part of my brain to move into a new passion that I haven't discovered yet. So if you have a moment to give me a small reading for some guidance, that would be amazing.
Oh, it would be my honor. Thank you so much for asking. And I'm celebrating you and the creativity in the water as you're like sharing it. It's just like I can just feel that playfulness and the joy that is coming in from that. And I love what you shared, that it doesn't really need to be like going like anywhere. Like, there doesn't need to be like a purpose to it other than you're doing it and seeing what this opens up or unlocks or flows into. So I think that is in such perfection. And as I connect with you, it's like holy hummingbird energy, giant hummingbirds that are just like coming in right now. And it's that flying time of just soul-led, soul-fed connections, and to really just be paying attention, because you're being dropped so many different messages and so many synchronicities, and you probably are like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on. So just really pay attention. It's like I'm seeing that Archangel Uriel, gold strong. He's just like, you know, come on, girl. And just look at the steps that are lit up in front of you, and just step on that next step and see what lights up next, and see what lights up next in just terms of where you're moving with your creative nature, with your work, with how you are in the world. That there, it's like you're trailblazing this new path, but it's all laid out, but you can only see as you go like one, you know, it's like you can't see all the way down. You can see as you step on that next like lily pad that's lit up, and then you see, oh, look at these options and opportunities, and you keep walking. And there is so much, I mean, I'm just seeing like golden symbols and like golden lettering that is just like scripting and writing. It's like all around you and your energy field. So I'm really feeling like that creativity and flow you're in is unlocking something in your body and being, are integrating a lot of energies, and this writing and this golden energy. It's like, it's just like saying, just keep going, keep exploring, and keep paying attention. Pay attention to those steps and where you're going, because you're rewriting so much right now and just becoming this next bigger, more amazing version of you in this new chapter. So thank you so much for calling in, and it's been a blessing connecting with you. Namaste. Beautiful. And I'll try one more time. Minnesota, are you there? Namaste, Minnesota. All right. So we only have a few minutes of our calls left, and thank you all for calling in and for your sharings and the beauty and support. And I'm just peeking over in the chat, you know, namaste. And yeah, beautiful. Hello, Yoga and Julie, and no problem, Pauline, no worries. And technology is fun, and Angela and Mia and Alea, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in live. And if you're catching this in the recording, you can always pop over to Soul Fusion Cafe on Tuesdays at noon Eastern. And if you want to learn more, selfascensionstudios.com. That is my personal website, Jess Juntunen, and you can see what's on offer there. There's free discovery calls. There are one-on-one sessions, teaching opportunities, and come over tonight to Soul Mirrors Radio on Oneness Talk Radio, official Shri and Kira, and it will be syndicated all over, but I am the monthly co-host the first Tuesday of each month with Master Lady Kira Ra, and I know so much is going to be shared about July energies and what's coming, and it's always an empowering, amazing conversation, and there's an opportunity to hop in for a reading over there as well. So that's at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday nights, and I'll be there tonight with you. So there's that coming, and the new moon is coming. The new moon ceremony that I do every month is this Saturday, July 10th. at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and you can register. The site is right there. If you're watching live, selfascensionstudios.com. If you scroll down, you'll see the events, you'll see New Moon. You can get registered there, or send me an email and I will help you get registered. This is a free event. Donations are welcome that support me in continuing to do this work in these events, but there is no requirement. So just your steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. If you feel called to be there, it would be amazing to have you. And yeah, every Tuesday here at noon Eastern time, at lunchtime, I'm here with Soul Fusion Cafe. So it's been a blessing, as always, to connect with you all. The hour went really fast. Beautiful to share in this space, in this community. And as you continue your evolution into your self-ascension, as you come home and say yes to the truth of who you are, surrender over to your greater spirit and embrace with unconditional love you, and be in union with your soul self and release all judgment. Those are the 4 steps of self-ascension in no particular order, but be there and love yourself enough to keep saying yes. And thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a pleasure, and I look forward to being with you next time. Many blessings. Namaste.